Okay, so something a bit sinister could be happening in the market here, guys, for XLM and XRP. And we're going to go ahead and find out exactly what that could be. Okay, so please, let's go ahead and do this first. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Please do me the favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, do everything necessary to get this thing to live long, thrive, and survive. Now, what do I mean by sinister here, guys? I do mean it actually as it sounds. Now, I will say, though, that the sinister side of things may actually be played both ways here. This may not be something that we're looking for as far as the as far as the short side of things, right? So it's like they're gonna take over here and then it's just done and it's over forever. That's what I mean. That there could be a trap in line and it may be displayed through the means of XRP. And I will kind of show you what that sort of looks like here. Now, what you're observing here is actually the weekly time frame, and this is introducing to you a new bar. Right now, you guys know the statistics here, right? 60 to 70% of the time, you'll get a 30 to 50% prior bar pullback before you can continue on that implied trajectory. Okay, so if that's the case, and here's the thing, the way that this is played is that there's usually what we call, remember, the peekaboo, right? Here's your peekaboo, bull trap, pull this thing down, and then start to retrace the potential 30 to 50% retrace out of this bar here. Okay, so there is something critically in the way for that to actually happen. Now, you can see right at this area here, right at the bottom of the existing wick that we just printed, right, this weekly time frame right here, right there. You can see if we draw a line across, that's roughly where we bounce from the wick top of the January 13th weekly candle 2025. Okay, so that's already giving us a zone of support if we use the next wick high. So let's just go ahead and kind of draw that in here for now. Right, that's going to give us a little bit of a support bound, and this way we can kind of, know where we're going per se. Okay, now the secondary zone, of course, it would be listed right about here, or actually shown, displayed at that 321.69, which more or less tends to be that weekly time frame 50%. It's right around that 45%, right? So that already looks like it could be of a possibility. Now, the sinister part is that there could be a further pullback into a more confluent zone of 302. Now, do we have the catalyst, though? Do we have a catalyst to back that? Is there something in the background that's happening as of now that could introduce a potential pullback of that magnitude? Well, I would say that the support bound would be 289.92 to just around 302.26, but just leave it there for now. As I have to point out these targets, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going there, right, guys? Just like always, right? Let's just go ahead and make sure that we can put down the areas that are of high interest here in order for us to determine the probabilities later. Okay, so far, this is what we have going right now. So how we're going to be able to validate this or invalidate the downside is through the means of a shorter term time frame. And we definitely have to take a look at a couple other things right now. For example, here on XLM. Now, the working of this here is a dead cat bounce. A lot of people don't know what that is, but just if you don't understand the terms, guys, make sure to give it a Google and you'll understand exactly what it means. Now, there is a probable bottom side here of around 47.10, given that we're already breaking down and already giving us a little bit of a fuss below some of these local inflections. This was your more local inflection prior to that. So I think we already reached the target, by the way, which then has a little confusion amongst people here. So if we go ahead and apply this to the downside, well, the target for us to evaluate would actually be just a little bit lower, right? Just around here, just about that 45.7130, which is already pretty damn close to the target that we were observing at 45.47. 45.4710. So, okay, that's already confluent here. So what I'm going to do is actually just draw from the psychological target to the very bottom side target that we've clearly used before, right? We've already used that before, and it's from the triangle. So just so you guys know, right, that this could be a support bottom here for XLM, and it also introduces the likelihood of a potential bounce from that area there. Now, should it actually be the target, is there another area that we can observe here for a possible liquidity grab? Absolutely, right? We're just going to go ahead and kind of touch down right here as a you know, a final low, right down here, right? And then in the 45.0438, and then we can observe. So here, these candles, guys, sure, they have a lot of resistance coming up, right? All good. It can just start to the downside from here, but sometimes it just, you know, it would probably try to come back to 46.21. But if it doesn't, that's because we have a lot of traffic, like we just said, and it rejected, right? All good. This is a lot of froth, right? I mean, not froth. It actually adds FOMO for the shorts, and it actually adds a lot of panic, right? People get scared here. So now that we reach the targets that we're looking for, do we find a bounce from this area here? Well, certainly, right? We're going to start finding bounces and rejections from this area here. And if we come back, right, and start validating resistances from some of these targets here, well, then that would be okay. We just have to see where that macro bottom is or where that official bottom is, and then we'll see about balancing out here before we can continue on to the upside, just like it happened from right over here, right? Check this out. Resistance, drop, right? Rejection at this point here, rejection at this point here. We get that little bounce to the upside. Then we continue to the downside just like we did here, right? And then we get to this bottom side and we create what looks like a dead cat bounce, right from this target down here, which we're very near. And then the rest is history, right? So there was already a pretty significant bounce to the upside from this support down here. So could it actually be one of the support bounds that we were looking for? Well, maybe. I'm not sure, but it is rejection. It is rejecting pretty nicely, as we said. This was a likelihood of happening, right? So very good. I like it, you know? So let's just observe though, right? Because we do have a few candles here coming down from the red, you know, actually opposing this, right? So this is a little more parabolic than it was for this one here on XLM. So far, I think that these would be your bottom side targets. This may not be done. We still may show a little bit further of downside. So don't lose your patience here, guys, okay? And yeah. Now, one other way to tell that this downside was coming here was by the means of a head and shoulders formation here, right, guys? That was another bearish formation that we could just kind of, you know, imply like this. Just make sure to put our trend line right from the head all the way down to that neckline, and from the shoulder down here. Check this out. Well, take a look at that targeting there. It's telling us that we could actually reach the liquidity bottom of 45 cents. But nonetheless, it's still within the bounds of this area here. Very good. Okay, guys. So now that we kind of know this, what do we have here as far as XRP? So let's just go ahead and take a look at XRP, as there is a likelihood of finding some of these bottom sides here. But let's just go ahead and take a look at this by via momentum. And you know what, guys? I do think that we actually may be able to benefit here from a shorter time frame. Okay, yeah, let's put some algorithms against this then. All right, so yeah, Omega LITE is giving us a bear phase active here. We're getting a crossover, and it is showing red. Okay, now let's go ahead and actually open up the higher time frame confirmation. So let's go ahead and do that, right? So we're within the 30-minute time frame, and it's showing bearish, right? So we're going to just make sure that it is active. Okay, good. And let's choose now. Let's see. Let's choose now maybe an hourly time frame. I think it'd still be bear. Okay, it's bullish on the hourly time frame. Let's see the 45-minute time frame. Okay, still bullish on the 45-minute, but where would it stop? Let's go to the bi-hourly or 3-hour time frame. Okay, 3-hour time frame. It's showing bullish. Oh, what? Okay, 6-hour time frame, bullish. What? 12-hour time frame, still showing bullish. Okay. All right. This is strange. I am reading a temporary downside on this that may be able to last here just for a bit, but holy crap, we're still bullish. So XRP, according to the algorithm here of Omega LITE, this is actually just a temporary downside before it continues towards the upside. And now that we're actually here, take a look at XLM reject that hugely. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. All right. So I guess we have some studying to do here, and we're gonna find out how this is gonna feel. I guess, guys, look at this, right? We have a head and shoulders formation here, right? So if that is the case, then we can go ahead and draw in a little bit of a regression, right? Something like this right here. So get that target just like this right there, right? And let's apply it to here. So that's giving us around a 337.91. Now that target is pretty curious. Now I tell you that because of this. If we put a line on that target, the 337.91 of the, sorry guys, sorry, here you go, right? I know. If we put a target there, it's just, you know, you guys remember that yesterday I put up a video so late, I had to redo the entire system, and that's like creating a little confusion with the screens that I'm sharing. My apologies, but the screen is here, right? But all good. So yeah, look at this, right? It's very confluent with this bottom side. This is what I mean by sinister, is that I believe that there could be a sinister side for the bears as well. So huge traps may be on the way here. Oh my goodness. There's also another situation happening here. Broadening, ascending. Yeah, this is an ascending, broadening wedge. And the bottom, yep, let me show you this. This is your ascending, broadening wedge, right? Let's go ahead and take this target right here and kind of show you how this thing is kind of like a bullhorn, right? It's expanding. So this is your buy formation here. Bottom side of the head and shoulders just so happens to be right at the 37.92, which also happens to be the take profit of this formation right at the genesis of it. That is the target for this. Okay. I'm saying that this has a pretty good probability hit rate, okay, guys? So be careful with this. It does show some downside. Now, for those of you curious on Omega LITE, make sure to pick up the algorithm here, guys, in the description below, as it's fairly inexpensive, right, guys? Help your boys out here, right? These systems are to make the Arca Bulls team move, right, guys? So pick it up. Make sure to send me the proof of purchase and TradingView username for your lifetime access to these fine algorithms here, guys, and we'll assign them for you as soon as you are ready. Okay, team. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, guys. So XRP. Potential downside to the areas of around 338.22, but of course make sure to keep an eye on that further time frame up here, which could be anywhere in here. I'm just going to go ahead and draw it like this as a point of maybe entry. But remember, be careful here, because if it does kind of capitulate faster than normal, we may be able to drop below this damn thing here and have this thing continue to the downside in a very, very dangerous manner. So the targets on this, guys, just one more time, I'm looking at a potential downside continuation, 339.89, bottom side of roughly 336.36 and 337.95. Okay, guys, so far so good. It looks like XLM is coming back to test that bottom side one more time here. Let's just see how we react, right? Because in my personal opinion, I felt like we still maybe had consideration for a little bit of a lower target in here, but price action will do what it will. All right, guys. So if any questions, you reach out to me. Make sure to send that to arcabulls@gmail.com, and everything will be good. All right, guys. Thank you. And we shall speak very, very scary Jerry Larry soon. Adios, team. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team. Oh, yeah.